We'll now open the Revere Licensing Commission meeting. First up on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of July 10th and July 17th. Is there
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Right. Those have been approved. Item number one is RK&E Corporation doing business as BK's Bar and Grill. Please state your name for the record, please.
Mr. Chairman, honorable members, good afternoon. James Cipolletta, 385 Broadway, Revere, on behalf of the licensee and the applicant in this matter.
And your application is to put in automatic amusement devices?
Yes, sir. These are coin-operated automatic amusement devices. It is not a, it's not an arcade. It's not phone cards or any of the things that the Attorney General's regulations address.
And how do you, what is your plan in terms of where they're going to be situated in the establishment? How are you going to monitor and handle this?
They'd be situated away from the area where the where normal people under 21 who might be in there with parents or might be in there for another reason, and within line of sight of the bartender and the manager, there are always at least 3 employees on the premises at each time, 2 of which have managerial responsibilities. So they would be segregated as to place, but within the purview of the person who's in charge of both the operation of the establishment and the bar area, to make sure that nobody unauthorized gets to play them.
So in 2007, you had the ABCC come in and do an investigation.
Yes.
And found that that you were in violation of some of the gambling statutes. What safeguards are you going to put in place today that will eliminate that issue coming up?
Well,
in the
first
future?
of all, there's new management as of 2009. So with regard to the people who have the responsibility, all new employees, new management staff, and so on, and they are keenly in tune with the rules and regulations and the mass statutes. And again, it's not a sweepstakes type operation. It's strictly video machines.
Any other questions from the Commission?
I know that you've represented several places about these amusement devices.
I'm sorry?
You've represented several places with these amusement devices in the past. And 18.
Yeah.
And from what I can see over the years, this is probably one of yours, probably one of the first ones in violation of gaming machines. I have no problem. I've never had a problem with amusement. If adults want to play amusement, go into a bar and enjoy a little amusement on the machines. I do have a problem if you're gaming with them. But from what I see, and I know a lot of people that do have them, most of them do abide by the law, and it's used solely for entertainment. And I would hope that your client, should it be approved, she wasn't on when you weren't manager at that time. What's your name, please? Would you
Sims. Marilyn Sims.
And you weren't manager at the time of the gaming?
No, I was not.
You weren't. So these will be just amusement?
Yes.
Adult amusement? No one under 21
No, positively
plays
not.
any of the machines?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Just, are these machines leased or purchased?
I believe that it's a lease operation. I don't think they own them. I think what happens with these machines, I'm sorry, in order that the numbers are traceable on them and the authorities are able to keep track of where machines are, because there is some regulation with regard to vendors, I believe. Okay. So certain vendors then would provide them. In the past, some of the organizations have attempted to own them, and the problem comes when you have to try to get them repaired. And with each generation of digital technological advance, it becomes more and more difficult. So generally, these are provided by a vendor, and they're owned by the vendor and leased.
So there is a charge to play the games, right? There is a charge, because you must have some kind of return on the cost of the investment, I guess.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so.
The money comes in, but it doesn't go out.
Correct. It should, yeah. Okay, that's it.
Okay, I have just one more question, Counselor. Commissioner LaCroix brought up a good question. I think in the past, when businesses did ask for machines, we got the actual identification number and the name of the machine. I don't see that here on the application. Do you have that?
We'll provide it.
Would you?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, and
Yeah.
what?
If it's not in the commission file, I'll have it tomorrow, because they have been identified at what machines and what the registered ID numbers are.
Okay, thank you.
Well, just one last question. So these machines are for, you mentioned people that are under 21 can come in and use these machines?
No.
No, so that
We don't want anybody under 21.
Okay, I thought you mentioned something about if someone brings their.
I don't really even allow anyone.
No one's,
to-
correct.
Right.
Okay, I must have misunderstood.
Yeah, we don't want people coming in off the beach and start playing them
Gotcha.
and hanging them around the bar. No.
Gotcha.
Are there any other questions?
I do not.
Is there anyone who wants to speak in favor of this issue? Seeing and hearing none, I'll close that side of the issue. Anyone who wants to speak in opposition? Hearing and seeing none, I'll close that. Is there a motion on the table?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Application's been
Thank you,
granted.
Commissioners.
Thank you. We'll now begin the next phase of this meeting. The following establishments have applied for a 2 a.m. closing. We'll ask you to come up. The commission will have questions about your intentions in terms of serving till 2 a.m. We'll talk about a little bit about some of the issues that might have come up in the past and how you plan to deal with it. First on the agenda is the Atlantic Lounge. Please state. Good afternoon. Okay, thank you. And your client is applying for 2 a.m.
That's correct.
And how do you see, 2 a.m., how do you view 2 a.m. versus 1 a.m., and what measures are you going to take in order to make sure that people leave there in good order and
I think this particular establishment is a little unique in that Mr. Revere, the manager here, is right next door. So he has direct and very personal oversight over the operation, and in particular the parking lot out back. That's that parking lot. It's his parking lot. And so he has direct oversight both of everybody respecting the neighborhood as far as noise control and leaving it in an orderly fashion as he's right there on site.
what kind of security do you anticipate in terms of both in the establishment and outside in the parking lots?
Right now, the way it is, and historically back when they had it at 2 a.m., they have, depending on the amount of people, 2 to 3 doormen, and at the end of the night, there's 2 people, 2 security personnel in the parking lot, aiding the people leaving. They've also had details in the past, police details in the past, but that was a function of the size of the crowd, depending on the particular night.
And these security people both,
Please put your mic on.
oh, yeah, I put your mic
Sorry.
on. That's okay. So in terms of security, do you anticipate that once the establishment closes, they'll be out in force and making sure that things are, people leaving
Absolutely.
properly?
They do that now at 1 a.m. They did it at 2 a.m. when they back before the rollback, and they'll certainly be doing it again.
Okay.
The closest neighbor, again, there is a buffer. The closest neighbor being Juan himself. So, and so he has a vested interest in keeping the crowd controlled and orderly at 2.
What do they anticipate? What's the average crowd that you have in that establishment? Do you know?
Over 100. Certainly, it's definitely over 100 because they've sprinkled it and all that. But I'm not in tune with exactly what the maximum capacity number is. But it's over 100 consistently, but doesn't reach 200.
I don't have any other questions.
Okay, the issues that I have walking the beach, you leave the door is always open, and the loud music comes out from there, and it is disturbing. Unfortunately, you're now in a neighborhood. They've built condos all around there, and there are houses in the back, but there is one that the owner of this building does live in, but there are several that he doesn't, that live right behind there, along with 2 condos down there. My other issue is the door open, the loud music. Usually there are 3 people there that are running it or whatever they're doing, but they're sitting on the railings kind of not really watching what's going on. I'm down that area quite a bit. The other thing I would like to see happen, should this be approved, is you always have a line there. People stand in line to get in there. So they must have well over 100 people because I never go by that there isn't a line. And I would like to curtail that line and, comes 12:30, 1 o'clock, who's ever in there is in there. To let them stand out there if 2 or 3 people leave and let them go in is disturbing to the neighborhood and the people walking the beach. We have a beautiful beach. I'd like to keep it that way. And the law reads that your doors are supposed to be kept closed, which they never are.
Understood.
Okay?
Yep.
Those are my issues with our establishment.
I'll police that.
Thank you.
Yep.
So is this a, I don't know, is it just a bar, club, DJs?
It's a nightclub.
Nightclub,
correct.
dancing and bands?
Dancing,
Bands.
bands or DJ, correct.
Okay. Okay. That's all I got.
Okay.
Are there any other questions?
No, I have no questions.
I have no
No questions? Okay. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
I'd like to be recorded as no. I would like to be opposed to this license. As everybody knows, I'm skeptical of that 2 o'clock closing, and until it can be proved to me that there is control, and there are a lot of great places in Revere, but until it's proved to me that it can be controlled, I can't go with the 2 o'clock license.
Your application's been approved.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is BK's Bar and Grill. Please state your name for the record, please.
For the licensee. Thank you.
So my question is pretty much along the same lines. I mean, what do you anticipate doing in terms of safety? I know Revere Cares has been putting together a little packet on best practices. I think, we'd like to get those out to all the bar owners. What do you anticipate in doing in terms of safety?
Sure. Just by way of description of a licensed establishment, because it has very little parking and because it's at the foot of Shirley Avenue, it's basically a local place. Most people walk to it and can walk home. It accommodates about 30 or 40 people, and they don't have live entertainment but for karaoke on some nights, and generally on a weekend night they will have a DJ. And so there's the main, and it's away from most residential uses as well. So to the extent that they were able to control it, it's very small, number one. We don't have to worry so much about people getting into cars and driving away, because there's really no place to park there, and most of them walk. There is the main entrance is on the corner of right there at West Square, Shirley Ave and Ocean Ave. It's very easy to monitor. There are always, as I indicated, 2 to 3 people in managerial supervision on the premises. On the nights when there is karaoke, such as on like Thursday to a Sunday, if there's karaoke or some kind of recorded music, they have 2 doormen. So they don't let anybody in before, as that last rush to get a drink before they head out to Malden or Lynn or back out of Revere. And it's been very well monitored in terms of abiding by the 1 o'clock closing time. There have been, to my knowledge, no incidents where the state police, Revere police, or the ABCC has sent us any notice that anyone who was arrested for operating under had claimed to have had their last drink at BK's. So I think that their operation is pretty much under control, albeit it's very easy to control because it's small, but nonetheless going forward I see no changes in the routine.
Are there any other questions?
No, again, I would just like to say, and I'm not going to say it to every applicant, we know the law reads the doors are to be kept closed. I know those doors are left open also. And again, I know you have karaoke, and even though you're not really residential, you don't have a lot of residents around you, it still bounces from where you are, the sound of the music. So, I'm just trying to, those that do get the 2 o'clock license, I wish them well, but I'm just trying to warn them in advance that will be a violation if doors are left open with loud bands. Okay, that's all I have to say.
Any other questions? Is there a motion on the table?
I'm going to make a motion to approve 2 a.m. opening, closing, sorry.
I'll second that motion.
I'll be recorded as being opposed.
Great, thank you. Your application has been approved. Next up is Bill Ash's Lounge. Please state your name for the record, please.
Kerry Tunstall, Bill Ash's Lounge.
Great. You tell us some of the measures you're going to take with the 2 a.m. closing if it's approved?
Well, I've already spoken to the entire staff collectively, and in particular the night staff individually, and told them what's expected, so there'll be no gray areas. I've already had a flyer filled out telling them 1:30's last call, 2 o'clock there'll be no alcohol anywhere out, there'll be no customers in the place, and by 3 o'clock all employees must be off the premises, so there'll be no gray area. I fully intend on being there 90% of the time myself to oversee the 2 o'clock closing, and I've added another doorman on the weekends.
Great. In going by the establishment, not to beat this to death, but Commissioner Guanasso is right in terms of the music. Having been down there a couple of days ago, it was so loud that you actually couldn't have a conversation on the sidewalk.
For my establishment in particular?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because years ago, we moved the stage from the front beach side to the back just for that particular reason, so it would be more to the back.
Yeah.
I mean, right from one end of the building to the other. And
I can't say that it's been a lot, but on that one occasion down there, it was. And we are sensitive to the neighbors, and the fact that if we do go to 2 a.m., that's another hour of that people have to contend with that noise. I recognize that you've got some apartment buildings in the area, but just the same, we want to be respectful of the neighbors.
well, I know lots of times we've taken a step where we make that last set by whatever band is playing an acoustic set, because I try to calm calm the customers down, for that last hour or whatever, and don't get them all pumped up with too much rock or whatever. So, but I'll keep that in mind, and I'll be sure to, take note if it seems allowed to me.
And this wasn't clearly at 1 o'clock in the morning. It was probably around 9, but just the same.
Yeah, that's when the band starts at 9 o'clock.
Yeah. Great.
Hey, Kerry, so what time do you typically last call for the band to start playing? Is it
12:30. Right now, it's 12:30.
okay? So it'll be 1:30
Yes,
if we do the 2 o'clock.
yes.
Okay. It's somewhat unrelated, but there's a current alleged violation for the gaming. Is that ongoing right now with the ABCC?
No, that was where my amusement devices were located, and that was found to be no violation. I received that judgment last week.
You did. Okay.
Yes. It said on it that a copy would be sent to this board. I imagine it must be on its way.
Yeah, because I think when bands play and noise is noise, right? So you can't have a quiet band unless they're solo artists
Right.
just playing some
Right.
quiet country music. So I understand the music. So it's more about the after after closing type of stuff outside your establishment. People get a little tipsy. They tend to sometimes confrontations start. You know how that works. So you'll have some type of kind of control to a certain extent when people leave your establishment in front of the.
Right. I'm adding a third doorman for the weekends.
Okay.
Effective immediately if we have the approval of the board.
Okay. That's the more concern, especially what's happened the last couple of weeks in Revere. I'm sure everybody's heard about some of the recent.
I understand it's
violence.
been, I know that we have a large parking lot, so we've lighted it pretty well and
Yeah.
whatever, and that's a focus at closing time too. Is that back parking
Are
lot?
there cameras back? Any surveillance cameras?
There's cameras right up until you walk out my back porch, but there isn't any actually facing out in the parking lot. But that may be a good idea. But
Might
but
not
I
be
do
a
have
bad
several lights out there. It's well lit.
Yeah. Okay. Great. All right. That's it for me.
So would you be opposed to having bands end at 1 o'clock versus 1:30?
No, if it's going to make a difference, I'm not opposed to that whatsoever.
I would appreciate if you would do that. That would, in my mind at least, give
Okay.
some people a buffer.
All right, that seems fair.
I appreciate that. I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay. I'm going to second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion approved. Thank you. Boulevard Bar and Grill. Yeah. All right. Hearing and seeing no one from Boulevard Bar and Grill, we'll table that for next meeting. The Cove, 571 Revere Street. The Cove. Please state your name for the record, please.
I'm William Dolan. I live in Revere. I'm representing the Cove Lounge in Revere.
And if you get 2 a.m., what security measures are you going to take? And
I have a doorman, plus I'm there, and my son is there. We have a big parking lot.
and when the establishment closes, will those people be out in the parking lots, making sure that everyone leaves safely?
Oh, I keep it pretty up in order.
I mean, one of the things that I've noticed in going by the establishment is the
Say that
door.
again, please.
When I go by the establishment on many occasions, I've recognized that the door has been open and that the music has been either coming out the side of the building or out in front. And my concern is that going to 2 a.m. and having that noise affect the neighbors is a major concern for me. So my question to you is, what are your plans in terms of dealing with that so that
Right
it's
up,
not a disturbance to the neighbors and that people are going to leave there safely?
I watch that door very, very close. If somebody comes in and out for a minute,
Mr. Dolan, I pass that establishment every day.
yes,
Without-
in the daytime you do, yes. It's open in the daytime. You want me to leave the door closed? Fine,
I do.
we close.
Any questions from the commission?
Yeah, Mr. Dolan, I understand your son is the manager,
Yeah, he's sick.
because he sort of runs the operation.
Yes,
Why is he not here?
he's sick. He
And why
had,
would-
he had the bypass done and
Oh, he
he's
did?
having bad reactions on it. And I believe that we're gonna put it under my name. And we're gonna change the name of the place too, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah.
Hopefully we're gonna change it to Junior's place. Hopefully. It's up to you people.
Yeah. See, my concern here is, you mentioned you're at the door, you have another doorman, and obviously you're an older gentleman, less apt to kind of control a situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm concerned there's not enough coverage there. You heard Bill Ashes say they're going to add another doorman or somebody else.
No problem there.
Yeah, because that has to happen, because I pass by there frequently as well, and not that I see any violations.
In the afternoon, I leave the door open on purpose,
Yeah,
only because of the air in the building, not because of any other reason.
yeah.
It's good to have, if you got the air there, use it.
No,
That's why my door is open, and I don't really care if I shut my door. I'm only there to have the door open for fresh air. That's it. No other reason. People don't walk up and down that street.
yeah, yeah.
If
Yeah.
really, you go by it every day in the week. I live there.
So you live at the establishment?
Excuse me?
You live there?
I live about 2 blocks away from there.
Okay.
I live on Sagamore Street.
So right now, if you were to get the 2 a.m. license, you wouldn't add any additional security.
If you want another man there, I'll put a man there.
Yeah.
No problem there.
Well, at the very least.
Mr. Dolan, I don't want to be in a position here to be telling you how to run your establishment. What I want to hear is that you're going to do the proper thing so that people can leave the establishment safely, that there isn't noise affecting the neighborhood, and I'll give you during the week when I drive by there, the door is open, which is illegal by the way, that there isn't a lot of noise coming out of the establishment at that point in time. But on weekends and on evenings when I go by there is. And quite honestly, I'm on the fence about it because I want to give everybody an even chance and have the ability to stay open till 2 a.m. But I am also going to come down really hard on somebody who doesn't toe the line, because the last thing I want to do is return to those days where everybody complained about 2 a.m. And so my feeling is that I want to punish everybody who's in that position, who's in that business that's trying to make a living. But I am not going to sit here and have to listen to people complain about, and I'm not talking about your establishment, I'm talking in generalities here. But I don't want to be sitting here defending my position every time I come up to this meeting because I decided that 2 a.m. is a good thing for businesses here. And for those that don't toe the line, my feeling is I have no problem rolling them back to 1 o'clock or earlier. And quite honestly, the first establishment that comes across this board, I'm going to be really hard on that point. So I'm asking you to give me solid, procedures in terms of how you're going to operate that establishment so that I know that people at 2 a.m., that your neighbors are going to be, happy with the fact that there's not a lot of noise, there's not always a lot of noise coming from the building, and that people can leave there safely. That's all I'm asking you.
I'm going to take care of it. If you want another man there, I'm going to put another man there. And as far as outside goes, I take care of my parking lot. And I take care of my parking lot very well. Like you just said, I'm old, so what, I'm old. That doesn't make me a bad guy.
I'm not saying you are. What I'm saying is I just want to make sure that the proper steps are taken so
When I
that.
say I'm going to do something, I do it. Ask anybody.
Well, if you don't, we'll be talking shortly, I would believe,
There you
because I'm serious when I say this, is that any establishment, I want to make sure that if you're going to say you're going to do something, just do it. And I'm happy with that. I'm happy to support 2 a.m., but I am not going to do it at for reasons that don't make sense. And I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say about it.
What I'm going to do right away is put a doorman on, like a man in your parking lot and everything. That'll be done. Right door, I'm going to put a big sign on my door. Keep this door shut. I'm going to say it that way. And if a person comes in and out and they shoot the breeze while they're walking in, it happens and you know it. You know, it will be taken care of. Those are easy.
Are there any questions from the commission?
I just would like to say something. Mr. Dolan did call my house, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, and did tell me his son Martin was sick and that he wanted to come and represent him. I suppose I should have passed that messages on to the board, which I didn't. The other thing is, I go way back with Mr. Dolan, but his son, Marty, does run a good ship when he's there. He doesn't put up with a lot of fooling around in the building. But my concern, again, was just that he's well enough to come back and, run the building.
Well, I think after all the years you know me, if I say I do, then I'm going to do it, I do it.
Yeah.
I do it for me.
I just wanted to explain that to the board, that I did know that you were going to represent him. And
making my neighbors happy makes me happy.
your problem is
That's the truth.
highly residential. I mean, you've got them, 50 feet away. So it's a lot harder for you, meaning keeping the noise control down. So the doors being closed is your best bet. I do believe my commissioners when they say violations are going to be handled in a very quick and speedy fashion.
Oh, we got a violation, that's shame on me.
Okay. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Officer Randall, for the most part, has the establishment been pretty, free of any altercations or whatever you want to call?
Again, just speaking in generalities, we have very, very few, if any, I can think of off the top of my head, any problems with the Cove.
Okay. And Mr. Dolan, what type of, do you have bands playing there or just?
Yes, we do on Saturday and Sundays, yes.
Can I ask you that the band shut down at 1 o'clock, similar to what we did with?
The band on Saturday gets over at 11 o'clock.
Okay.
The band on Sunday gets over at 1 o'clock.
Okay, so with the new 2 a.m., if you were to get, with the new 2 a.m. ruling, I would like to see the bands.
The band on Sundays only plays till 11 o'clock. We do the blues, open mic blues there on Sunday.
Correct.
And on Saturdays, we have a regular band that plays for the whole evening.
So, because right now it's only a 1 o'clock establishment, but if it becomes a 2 o'clock
We
establishment.
can't make it with 1 o'clock. We cannot make it.
No, I'm saying the band would have to stop at 1 o'clock. You can stay open till 2 if you get
The band stops with 20 minutes or 2 like it's supposed to, by law, with everybody else.
We're asking you if you would do one.
for the band.
If everybody else does one, I'll
That's
go with
that's
that.
what I'm asking.
I don't agree with you, because we're not making no money. I have 20 people I take care of. I have autism people, I have handicapped people, I have other people, and I can't make a dime down there.
Mr. Dolan, I'm asking you if you would do 1 o'clock. I mean, we're not saying you have to close at 1 o'clock. We're saying you can stay open till 2. I'm asking you if you would have the band play till 1.
Yeah, why not?
Great, thank you. Is there a motion on the table?
Motion to approve 2 a.m. closing for the Cove.
The 1 a.m. band. I'll second that motion.
Thank you, people.
At this time, Commissioners, I would like to know if we can take the Shipwreck Lounge out of order so that Mr. Cordova can go for his therapy.
Absolutely.
Shipwreck Lounge, please.
Please state your name for the
Louis
record, please.
Padova, 3 Seal Harbor Road, Winthrop. I own the Shipwreck Lounge, 55 Revere Beach Boulevard.
Thank you, Mr. Padova. Can you just tell us what you're going to do in terms of safety procedures and handling 2 a.m.?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. Can you tell us what you're going to be doing in terms of safety procedures for 2 a.m. types of things you're going to do?
Basically, what I'm doing right now, I have a doorman on Friday and Saturday, and 2 a.m. is not worth anything to me the rest of the week. There's nobody around.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't even know if it'll be any good Friday and Saturday now. It's been so long that we've lost everybody.
Do you have bands that play?
Excuse me?
Do you have bands that play on a regular basis?
No, I have a DJ Friday and Saturday, karaoke Sunday afternoon.
Great. Any questions from the Commission?
No, this is one of the establishments I happen to know is very quiet. There's not many patrons in there, but and the karaoke, he does have the karaoke on Sunday nights, I believe. But other than that, I think I only see him up here on renewals. So I have no questions.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I second the motion.
Thank you.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? There you go. Full Rack Smokehouse. I know that. His wife's saying that. Please state your name for the record, please.
Attorney Lawrence Simeone.
And you're representing?
I represent Burbank Inc. Full Rack Smokehouse. The owner is Noel Giacchetti. She's also the manager. These individuals have owned this restaurant. It's occupancy at 35, 40 people. It's a very small restaurant. They've owned it for about 8 years. The anticipation is their current last call will be 12. Their current last call will be 12:30. Their new last call will be 1:30. They haven't had any problems in 8 years. So the facility is so small, Mr. Chairman. I would think that the only thing they'll do is just remain tip certified for their people and keep them up to date.
Great. And at closing, do they anticipate doing any type of monitoring of the parking lot or anything like that?
I think they currently do that now,
They do?
but again, it's a very small facility.
Yeah. I don't have any other questions.
I just have one question, Counselor. I see it says here Full Rack Smokehouse. Okay? What is on his license? I don't remember there
My
ever being a
understanding
name
is
change.
his license is Burbank Inc. DBA Full Rack Smokehouse.
Okay, I never remember a change of name from Esquire to
Yeah.
Full Rack. There was a
Well, when I
change?
spoke to Joan, that's who she told me the license was held in, Burbank Inc. And that's who I put the application in.
Okay, I just have to check that. I never remember them coming up for a name change. So, okay, I just want to make sure when the vote goes through.
Did we give the right
Want
place?
to go on the right name of the license.
All right.
Is there a motion on the table?
I'll make a motion to approve the 2 a.m. closing.
I'll second that motion. The license has been approved. Luigi's Pizza, 616 Winthrop Ave. Hi, please state your name for the record, please.
Candace Pioppi.
And you're applying for 2 a.m. and my question is pretty much the same. what type of establishment do you run? How many people does the restaurant hold? And what do you anticipate in terms of, people leaving the establishment, say at 2 a.m. versus 1 a.m.?
Yeah, we're basically a restaurant. Our liquor sales are a very minimum amount of our total sales. And out of that, the majority is beer sales, beer and wine, to go with a dinner. We don't have any type of bands or karaoke or anything like that. And we just want to expand the business a little bit. We've been there 32 years. My husband and I are generally on the premises. If not, we do have a full-time manager. We have a large parking lot, which is well lit. And we have a 24-hour tenant, which is Patriot Taxi. So they are always around the area. Our building we own the entire building. Mm-hmm. And our tenants, other than the taxi stand, generally out of there about 8 o'clock. And so we just want to expand the business and offer people a beer or wine if they had dinner, and if there were like a Red Sox game that would go along or a Patriots game.
So you anticipate you'll be serving food probably
Yes,
right up to closing?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, good. Any questions?
Is this the establishment across the street from the Beachmont Station?
Yes,
And there's a big parking lot there?
behind it,
Oh, behind it?
yes.
So there's no music right now?
No.
Okay. Is that a plan? Is that part
No.
of the game?
No.
Just pizza and beer and liquor?
We have a full
Full.
menu also.
Okay. Yeah, I got no other questions.
Oh, yeah. Commissioner, do you have any questions?
No, I have no questions.
All right. I'll make a motion to approve the license.
I'll second the motion.
The license,
Before it's being posted.
Thank
the
you.
license has been
Okay.
approved. Mirage Restaurant, 220 Linway.
Mr. Chairman, Attorney
Please state your
Lon Simeone for Mirage Restaurant. The actual name, again, is Lobster Cabin, Inc., DBA Mirage Restaurant. I have with me the owner, Jay Epsamos, and also the manager. Business has been really a restaurant with table service only. There's no bar service in this particular location. Since 1989, someone comes in and they just want a drink, they are not allowed to do that. They have to eat. Recently, they had an incident where some ladies were very upset because they wanted to come in and just drink wine, and they were not accepted. They have to eat in this facility. There was a noise issue with the neighbors in the Pines. Miss James, we worked that out a couple of years ago. Now Miss James has a pretty good relationship with them. She talks directly with them if there's an issue on noise. And that's pretty much all I can report at this point.
Any questions from the commission?
Yeah, just given the proximity to the city of Lynn, do you anticipate, and I don't think they have a 2 a.m. closing, correct? I don't believe they do. Do you anticipate a significant increase in patrons? And given that, what type of, I guess, safeguards are in place? Is that?
I would only say in this particular case, no, of any increase at all, because again, this is no bar service. You cannot walk in at 1 o'clock and say, I'd like a drink, and only a drink. There's no bar, only table service.
The table is yours for the night. They don't work on turnover and turning over the table. You know, it isn't a 3-course thing and go home. You're there for the night, they figure, with the entertainment.
So there is entertainment. You said there was entertainment?
They have a band that plays dance music.
And we're looking at a 1 o'clock shutdown for music? Is that okay to?
With the, I'm asking if they'd shut it down at 1 o'clock. They'd probably, I mean, again, this facility's had absolutely no problems. Would ask you to at least 1:30.
Counselor, I mean, I'd like to be consistent only
Yeah.
for the reason why I am sensitive to the places that are around residential housing. I'm not opposed to looking at this thing down the road a little ways to see how it works out. I mean, I don't want to handcuff people from being able to make a living here. But it was, in my mind, it was a tough vote to go 2 a.m. I felt that, businesses needed to do that. And I'm not opposed to maybe looking at that, maybe, down the road 6 months or something like that, or sometime in the near future. I won't even limit it to 6 months. I just want to make sure that that this thing kicks off on really a good start, and hopefully this thing works out for everybody.
Mr. Chairman, that's the policy of this board, that's fine. I guess my only comment would be is some of these licensees are really small. This particular licensee is a small licensee, has had history of no problems. The only one was noise, and I just told you was, and I also told you that they have communication now with the neighbor.
I mean, I recognize...
You may be really doing some damage to the larger facilities, but I'll let you take them one at a time when it comes to, that limitation.
Well, the only thing I have to say is we're into August. We're almost into September. Renewal, you're going to start filling out your applications in late September, early November. I mean, at that time, it gives us plenty of time to see how this 2 o'clock is going, and, maybe there's a little more leeway for those that can run an establishment. And I will say this establishment, I understand what you're saying only because they do more functions, and like you say,
Exactly.
Once they're in there, and I can appreciate that. But I still have to agree with my colleagues. We're talking a few months before renewal. Maybe you should look at it renewal so that this is going to be a very hard adjustment, even for the police department, for watching those that close at 1, those that close at 2, and bands. I don't know how they could keep control if someone can play the band till 1:30 and someone's only 1 o'clock. So I think in all fairness, I have to agree with my colleague. And renewals, they'll probably be out in a month to start with your renewals. And it gives this board a couple of months to see where they want to go, if any further, on this 2 o'clock.
I mean,
Yeah, I think the only point I would make on behalf of, generically,
Yep.
is the fact that the idea of going from a 12:30 last call to now a 1:30 last call, most people hang in for the entertainment. So really, it's like a half. I'm not going to split hairs, Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman.
no, I'm not trying to either, Counsel. All I'm saying to you is, Commissioner Guarnasso really makes a good point. I mean, we're talking, here it is, August 15th or whatever it is, the 14th. We've got, 3.5 months, 4 months. I'm happy to look at it again, and I don't want to handcuff people. I mean, I recognize, the whole point of going at 2 a.m. was to help these establishments. I get that. I think that maybe my compromise in this thing is, and I recognize this establishment as well is probably not going to be an issue, and I'm hoping that there isn't any establishments that'll be an issue. But I think that for the neighbor's sake, I just want to see how it kind of kicks off. If it kicks off without any issue, you have my word that we'll look at this thing at renewal time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you approve the license?
No, I haven't yet.
Oh.
Are there any other questions from the commissioners?
No, we haven't approved you yet.
Is there a motion on the table?
Oh, I tied.
Is there a motion on the table?
I'll make a motion to approve the 2 a.m. closing.
I'll second that motion.
I'd like to be recorded as being opposed.
Your license has been approved. Renzo's Brick Oven Pizza, Revere, 381 Revere Beach Boulevard.
The name of the licensee, Mr. Chairman, is Patsy Inc. DBA is Renzo's Brick Oven Pizza. The owner is Mr. Gateman, who's to my immediate left. His manager is a Rose Sherry. They've been in operation, principally a restaurant, not a bar, but for the last 5 years they've had no incidents. They have an occupancy of about 98. Their present last call is around 12:30, which is in keeping with our present policy. The anticipation here is that, they'll tighten the ship up, everybody will be tip certified, but again, the predominant issue here is restaurant food, not really a bar. Mr. Gateman has been in the industry for 40 years, and he owns facilities in Boston, and he'll answer any questions you'd like, but, I don't see any major changes in the philosophy that's presently being managed there.
Great. Any questions from the commission?
Just real quick, so the music you do have is typically a solo artist that plays the show. You don't anticipate them playing beyond 1 o'clock, right? You don't anticipate that the... No, most likely.
I would just like to ask one question, just out there. Do you really think you're going to be open till 2 o'clock? Do you think that the customers are going to be there? I mean, I go by, honestly, I'm not being funny.
Our last call is for liquor tour. It's not for alcohol.
Right, and that's what I'm saying.
Well,
I know
yes,
you're applying for it, but
Well, it's like getting...
11:30.
You guys said we'll give you free ice cream, I showed up.
Right, but I know
I'm
the
gonna eat it.
Renzo's just does not, well, actually, there's several places that even if they're approved, I don't think half of you ever stay open till 1 o'clock. No.
I would agree.
That's great. I mean, I like that, but I do drive by them, and sometimes at 10 o'clock, there's, 5 people. So I don't know what the 2 o'clock's going to do for your business, but,
You're trying to make me feel badly?
well, I know.
I think he is, Mr. Gateman.
It's not from the food, though, by the way. There's only 5 people.
Oh, it's not the food.
Food's
No,
really
it's not
good.
the food.
The food
He
is
has
very
an early,
We call her glum.
you have an early crowd, I know that. And I know you just have the DJ. You have no
Right.
bands, right?
Any other questions from the commission?
No.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
Had to
Thank
be
you. All in favor?
recorded as being opposed.
The license has been approved. Revere Loyal Order of Moose. Please state your name for the record, please. I'm sorry, your name? Leslie Clemens. Great. So, Mr. Clemens, I know you've been up here recently, and we've had discussions about different types of parties and things like that, and I'm glad we haven't had any issues since that time. Can you tell me what you anticipate doing if approved to 2 a.m. and what are your procedures in terms of closing, making sure that people get out safely and quietly?
I'm sorry. We had a 2 a.m. license in the past, and we've always taken the proper precautions to make sure everyone leaves safely. And again, it's just a members' organization, so we don't have any outsiders coming in. It's a members-only organization, and they all know to well-behave down there. They lose their privileges, and they've always left in an orderly fashion. One last call will be 1:30 now, and they'll be out the door at a proper time.
Since that last issue, no, I haven't seen anything else in the log about the moose.
All right. Currently, is there an investigation by ABCC on the gambling, or the amusement devices?
There was, and that investigation is over. It's complete, and it was a 6-day suspended sentence held in abeyance should we have no other violations within the next 2-year period, and we don't expect any. It was over the machines, which we voluntarily removed.
You have?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have any questions.
Now, for functions, private functions, is this 2 a.m. going to apply to them as well?
It will. The functions that we have will have a 2 a.m. 1:30 last call as well, but we only hold members' functions there. You must be a member to have a function upstairs.
Okay.
We don't rent to the general public.
So in terms of, so you'd be okay with the 1 a.m. shutdown of music if there's functions?
We don't,
I mean, some functions have been,
no, we don't allow bands in the building.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Okay.
No. We have like a karaoke thing maybe, but no
Gotcha.
bands, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, once in a while, I think we, on these, and let me say that again, like St. Patty's Day, there was an Irish band we had, but it's so rare that we have something like that.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's about it.
Are there any other questions from the commission?
I have no questions.
Is there a motion on the table?
I'll make a motion to approve a 2 a.m. closing.
I'll second that motion.
We record as being false.
Your application's been approved.
Thank you very much.
Revere Lodge, the Elks. Please state your name for the record, please.
James Hanning, manager of the Revere Lodge.
Great. And you're applying for 2 a.m., so I have a couple of questions. One is, was there a recent violation from ABCC on gambling, amusement devices?
Not for gambling. We had in a room that we didn't know it was going to be open. The next day, it wasn't open.
Okay. And did ABCC levy any type of fines against your organization?
They postponed it.
They po- Okay. And they're out in the open?
Out in the open,
Okay.
we just didn't know about it.
And going to 2 a.m., what type of, what type of safety issues or procedures are you going to put in place to address 2 a.m.? And what volume of people are we talking about here?
When there's no rentals, at the most people, there'd be 60 people. And they're all members or with members. And we've never had a problem, and I don't anticipate any kind of problem.
Mhm. How many functions do you have a year, would you say?
Maybe 15.
Are they generally things like weddings and,
The 15-year-olds, Spanish ones, birthday parties, baby showers.
okay. So not the type of events that really beg a lot of alcohol?
Some of them do.
Okay.
But for the most part, baby showers and them, no.
And you haven't had any issues in terms of any
No.
of these events? Do you hire any type of details or have any type of people in security on?
If they have over 100 people, they're responsible for getting a call.
And who oversees making sure that they do that?
Yeah, if I'm there, which I'm there most of the time, if they get more people, I tell them they either have to call the police station or tell the people to leave.
So at the end of, you do?
I try to call in advance. If they tell us we're going to have more than 100, they have to call in advance.
I guess what I'm asking is, there's always somebody who has some type of oversight, whether it's you or
Yes.
somebody else at
There's
that
always
club.
an officer there.
I see. Okay.
James, what's the purpose of staying open till 2 a.m. for you?
To keep up with all the places around. Our people will leave at, say, 11 o'clock
Yeah.
and go there. And we're going to lose,
So,
you know.
I mean, because most of these are profit organizations. They are obviously a nonprofit, so you're not looking to, stay alive, I should say, by
Well-
staying open till 2. I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah.
Why would you want to keep you? I can understand the other business owners. They would need to stay in business. You're more or less social type of environment.
Because our members have asked us to, when they heard about it, and we feel if we don't, BK's, Bill Ash's are right down the street. They just instead of coming here, they're going to go there. Even though they're members, they're going to go there instead. And we only have a DJ on Friday nights, and we stopped them for the month of August, and they close down, they have no problem, we have no problem getting the people out safely and quietly, you know.
Are there any other questions from the commission?
No, I have no question.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'm going to second the motion. Good
All in
luck.
favor, say aye.
Aye.
Your application's been
Thank you.
approved. Sammy's Patio, 63 Revere Beach Boulevard. Please state your name for the record, please.
Sam Faisal, representing Sammy's Patio.
Great. And can you tell me a little bit about what your plans are in terms of making sure that people leave the establishment safely and
Well, I already have one of the most comprehensive security in place as it is. We have 3 to 5 guys that are all tip certified, crowd control management already. They've been doing it for 15 years plus. I think my lowest guy has 15 years experience, whether it be through the military or bodyguarding or through that service. So we're pretty much going to keep going, you know, clear the sidewalk at the end of the night, make sure everybody gets to their cars. I mean, you can do it to a certain point. You know, it's Revere Beach. When in the summertime they don't want to leave, but.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell me how you would address the noise? I know that we've asked a lot of the establishments to go to 1 a.m. Temporarily, at least, for any types of bands and things like that. Would you be opposed to that?
I only do bands rarely. Usually it's the DJ. The building's soundproofed.
Okay.
I just put 3-inch Lexan glass in the front windows to stop any sound coming through that. That's double paned. I have soundproof tiles on the wall, soundproofing on the rug. You really don't get a lot of noise out of it. 1 o'clock will be more of the wine dine time. I mean, you get noise when the door opens, but that's about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Sitting in front of my club, you can actually hear everybody else around you more than you can hear me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Any other questions?
Well, the only thing with your establishment too, also when I walk down the beach, you seem to get a crowd that stays right in front of the building. And some nights, whether you have Brazilian night or
Yeah, the Brazilian
whatever
night
nights,
ended. That's been gone for a few years now.
Well, I went down there last Saturday night. I think I took a walk down the beach. Quite a few people out in front.
I can keep them in the back if you want. We can make no
No, I'm
front
not trying
access.
to keep them in the back. I don't care where you put them. I just think that the noise outside, again, sometimes not even the music. When these crowds are out there, people are a little intimidated. They want to walk by, and you know they're carrying their conversations on outside, and they're your patrons. I mean, I just think lines outside a bar. You know, you have a point where you cut it off and you say,
Well,
look,
we don't
it's
do
1
lines out.
o'clock, we're done.
I'm sorry, not to interrupt you. We don't do lines outside the bar. That's just people outside smoking. I can make them all smoke on the back patio. I'm not opposed to that. We haven't had a crowd that we needed a line for in about 8 years.
Well, I don't know what happened last Saturday night. You had a line.
Yeah.
There was quite a few
Well,
people.
that's just people paying the entrance fee to get in, and
Yeah.
I mean, I can move the entrance to the side of the building. I have a side of a building entrance. I can move the entrance to for the cover charge nights and make it so that they line up on the side of the building instead on the sidewalk.
I just think, you know, I'm in agreement with my colleagues, you know, we, you know, want to help the city out too. You know, people want to walk the beach, they want to enjoy the beach, and if we have music coming from every building or people standing there, you actually have to walk in the street.
Oh, I
You know,
agree.
And we've got, which I think they're doing a great job, DCR, that they go around listening to the music on the radios if you go by with loud radios.
Yes.
So, you know, it's the same for clubs. It's not that anybody's picking on anyone. It's just that Revere Beach is a beautiful beach. We want to keep it that way. And we don't want this 2 o'clock to set us back.
I agree.
Okay, so if you can clean up the front of your building and
Not a
the door
problem.
closed,
Yeah,
that'd be great.
I would ask whatever you could do to you know, mitigate any type of
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I would say
loud music.
that anything that you could do to mitigate any type of, you know, commotion, noise out in front of the building would be great.
Of course.
You mentioned the back, the parking lot
No, we
here?
don't have a parking lot.
So in the back of the building is what?
A patio.
Okay. Are these security cameras back there?
There's a doorman back there. There's
There
usually
is.
2 security personnel in the back at all times.
Okay. I noticed, who's the manager, Mary,
My sister, Mary Ellen.
and I assume she's been with the
Huh?
She's been with you for some time.
Yeah, well, it's a family business. It's
Oh, it
me,
is.
my sister, my brothers, my
Gotcha.
father.
Okay, that's it. Thanks.
Any other questions from the commission?
No, I haven't.
Is there a motion on the table?
And a motion to approve 2 AM closing.
I'll second that motion.
The report is being closed.
Your license has been approved.
Thank you.
The Squire? 604 Squire Road, please state your name for the record, please.
Mr. Chairman, Attorney Lawrence Simeone for MFRP Corporation, DBA The Squire. President is Mark Feltrani. I have with me Peter DePisa as the manager. This corporation has owned The Squire for approximately 2 years. There's been no incidents within that time frame. They have an occupancy of about 250, but they usually have no greater than 100 people at a time. During the prior owner, Mr. Fumara's tenure, Mr. DePisa served 15 years as the manager. The facilities have tip-certified service people. In keeping with the commissioner's desire to increase security, given the 2 o'clock license, they've consulted with an outside security firm. They have invested $10,000 in new camera systems. They anticipate that their current last call, which is 12:30, will be 1:30, and they really don't have any neighborhood. You're not in the middle of a neighborhood when it comes to residents. They're in an industrial type area.
Counsel, I would agree on almost all of your points, with the exception of one. I recognize that you wouldn't even know that was in the neighborhood driving by it. I mean, I think everybody knows it's there, but you don't hear a lot of issues coming from the establishment. However, there was just recently in the newspaper an article about an incident that took place involving an off-duty state trooper, and could you at least elaborate on that a little bit?
I don't know too much about it. There was a state trooper that was undercover. That's all I know, that was there.
Well, I guess my question is what confidence do I have that you're going to have control of your club and making sure that that the establishment is safe?
Well,
you have this issue whether it's 2 a.m. or 1 a.m. or 12 a.m. So my question is granted, any type of incident could take place anyway. I mean, anywhere. We see that every day. And I recognize that sometimes it's out of your control. However, what I want to know is, at least that now that we know that that incident took place, I want to know what we're doing to address that going forward.
As soon as we saw on the cameras that was going down, that was in the middle of the parking lot, we notified the Revere police. We locked the front doors. We did not allow anybody out or anybody in until the Revere police showed up, and then they handled the matter. And that's when the guy identified himself as a state trooper, and they took over from the incident. I mean, he might be able to help more with that. But as far as that was outside our building. We contained our security measures inside the building.
So that took place really around 9 o'clock in the evening. Did you institute any type of controls of the parking lot
I didn't hear you on the question. What did you say?
Have you done anything to control those situations in the parking lot since? Is there any type of security out there? I mean, what happens at closing time? Do the people who do the security in the club make sure that everyone leaves safely without any type of incident?
Yes, we do. We have all our security staff has walkie-talkies. They have direct contact with the Revere police number, and we have 24-hour surveillance videotaping the whole parking lot. And they don't go back inside the building until everyone left the building in the parking lot.
Okay. Any other questions from the commission?
I just have one question. I remember years ago when Mr. Fumara was running the building, he put in a metal detector. Is that metal detector still functioning, or?
Yes, it is.
It is. So did this party walk in with the weapon? Was he able to get in?
That party was not inside the building with a weapon. He went to his car, got it out of the truck, and that's what's on videotape.
So he was never,
Never inside the building with a weapon.
so he didn't get, and these metal detectors are still in working condition?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Peter, this is a little more closer to my neck of the woods, so I'm a little more concerned about your establishment. But I can definitely see the increase in the patrons affecting you more than most of the establishments here. I can definitely see that. So I think from a security perspective, it sounds like you have a lot of things in play here already, correct? Do you plan on adding any additional staff?
We had an additional 6 security staff. We also had an outside consulting firm who deals with Live Nation and to certify all my floormen. And like I said, we're all tip certified. Also, the floormen were tip certified too. Even though they're not serving alcohol, I made them get tip certified.
Yeah. Now, I'm sure you have something in place, procedures in terms of, the workers who are leaving the establishment at the end of the night. Do you have safety procedures in for them as well? Because I'm assuming that's a concern of yours.
Yes, we all walk out as a group.
You do?
Yeah, we wait till the customers leave, then the staff walks out as a group.
Good. Okay. Now, Joe, obviously the music issue is a little different here.
I mean, I don't know of any, I've never heard of any complaints in terms of
No,
music.
we're talking about regarding the 1 o'clock music, but it's a little different what I'm saying.
I can only tell you that
It's
the
not,
history
it's
of...
not a live band, though.
That's
is it?
right.
No, it's
So-
not live band.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
so
not
that
a
doesn't
live band.
apply to the music stuff.
The exotic dancers don't do a cappella. So, thought you'd enjoy that. Anyway, they have no complaints. They haven't had any complaints in many, many years, and there's no ABCC complaints.
Okay.
I'd ask you to approve the license.
Any comments, Lieutenant Rindle?
As far as I can't comment on anything on the other investigation with that incident, but in general, we don't have many complaints from the squire. An occasional call of disturbance in the parking lot, but generally nothing inside the establishment.
Right. Thanks. Any other questions from the commission? So I'm concerned about it a little bit. Although, like I said, and like Lieutenant Randall said, I don't really know of a lot of situations where there's been problems there. I would just be mindful of that, and I'll make a motion to approve.
I second the motion.
Your application's been approved. Wonderland Ballroom. Please state your name for the record, please.
Attorney Lawrence Simeone, 300 Broadway, Revere, Massachusetts, Wonderland Ballroom, Inc. The president of the corporation is Louis Delpidio. I apologize. I have Chuck Delpidio here. He's the manager for 3 years. In this particular facility, it's a very large facility, well known to the commission. They do have They do have both music and live bands. They have operated pretty much with 2 details for fire department, 1 detail fire officer, 2 detail police officers. They have operated the facility for 12 years. All their individuals are tip certified, and they have security on staff, which the manager is more than willing to set forth for you. So why don't you just give them an update on your management, on your security?
Hi, Chuck Delpidio. We do something at the door probably that nobody else does in the city, is when you come to our door, and we do this in every place we have, you will be patted down. We'll use a wand. If a woman has a pocketbook, the pocketbook is opened. We look inside that pocketbook. Some people may say, well, God, that's terrible. I disagree. People come in and they say, the world we live in is not the same world that we all once knew. So when somebody comes in there, we know that these people are all clean and that there's nothing that's coming inside our place. Now, we have, I would invite the board, too, to come down and see the operation anytime that they would like to come down to see how we conduct our front door. The front door is 90% of your problems at any place. If you can control that front door with the people that come in that place, that's when you can stop all kinds of problems. Is there ever going to be a problem? Yes, there will be. To tell you that there'll never be a problem, that's not true. I mean, we do a lot of people there. I mean, pound for pound, person for person, there is not much problems there. I know that you're going to say, well, a couple of weeks ago you had a little problem there. That was a domestic problem with husband and wife. But, we handled it with the police officers. There was no arrest. But will that happen on an occasion? It will. Now, we have we had 17 doormen on this particular night, and I just increased it to 20. And you say, 20 doormen, my God. But that's a big place. There's doors here, there's doors here. We have about 5, 6 people right at the front doors controlling all that, plus with the details. So, we have a meeting before we start with the heads of security, with the assistant managers, and with the whole door staff before we open for a concert. A lot of places have bands. We have concerts with artists that, sometimes these artists are over $30,000 just for the night. So these are big, big artists that come in over at Wonderland. It isn't a local band or anything like that. They're really big, big bands, artists that come in. But as far as security, I mean, we're on top of it all that we can. And not only that, at the end of the night, we all meet and we talk about what situations, if there was a situation, how could we improve that? What do we need to do?
So can you tell me a little bit about, what took place after the incident internally and how you plan to deal with that in the future? I mean, I recognize that incident could have taken place at any time.
Sure.
But it's really, it was at
I have to tell you,
127.
I was not there on that evening. I was on vacation. So for me to stand here and tell you I was there would be a lie, and I'm not going to do that.
So I know you've come up before this board a number of times, and since I've been on this board, I don't know, maybe 10 or 12 times. And every one of those concerts have pretty much gone off without a hitch.
That's correct.
But I'm more concerned about if we go to 2 a.m., and not only 2 a.m., but any time, whether it be, in the, early evening. What are your plans in terms of dealing? It sounds like to me that you've got a pretty good handle inside the club at the moment.
Well, since I came there, I changed so much, from the front door to during the night to after the night, with everybody in the parking lots, everybody on their walkie-talkies, everybody with their flashlights, and making sure that everybody gets out safety. Safety is top priority.
So tell me what your plans are in terms of dealing with the parking lot since you've had this last incident.
Well, the parking lot, as the doorman, we send doormen outside just before that we're going to start exiting people. So everybody is in a position that moves the traffic along. If somebody has a radio on loud, they're told us to close it down. We have the police details there. But we are outside ready for whatever we have to do. But you know what? Our door staff is prepared for what we're doing because we talk about this before the night starts. And again, I'll say to you, at the end of the night, we have another meeting. And to tell you again that something will never happen, I can't.
Mr. Chairman, just on that incident, that last incident, I mean, the steps taken were the security that we have immediately called the police. They confined the situation. The police came. There was no arrests, no complaints. Again, are people going to have a fight outside someone's facility? This type of thing could be, yeah. It's the way we handle it, and I think they handle it appropriately. They call the police and take matters into their own hands, and ultimately the police resolved it with no arrest.
Lieutenant Randall, in terms of how the police department, any issues that they felt were, put them in any kind of danger, was not handled properly or anything along those lines?
No, historically, there have been issues over the years down the ballroom under different names, Alito, ballroom, whatever. As the new manager has said, since he's come on, things have somewhat changed. They are consistent in always hiring police details. The problems do seem to have gotten smaller, as it may be part of the whole situation of the crowds becoming smaller. They don't do the volume of business that they did at one time. But they do have a very large staff of bouncers or doormen, and they are consistent in hiring police details, and the 99% of the problems are in the parking lot, not in the
I'm the one that decided to change the name, too, from Club Lido to the Wonderland Ballroom, because the Wonderland Ballroom is what Revere is, and we want to make sure that people are proud of what we have there. And I want this board to be proud of what we have there. And again, I'll say to you, I invite you down to come see the operation and show you everything that we do. We'd love to have you come down.
Right.
Chuck, I got a quick question on the. So right now, when the establishment closes at 1, the bands you hire typically they play 4 hours.
No, the band, they usually, see, these aren't just regular bands. These are artists that come in. They don't go on for 4 hours. So if we open the doors at 8 or 9, let's say 9, they usually don't go on to like 11:30. So that's the difference between just a local band and these artists. So that's the real thing. And the real issue here is that, we're competing against big venues in downtown Boston that are open to 2 o'clock, where the artists can go on at midnight and play till 1:30, and then have that half hour to disperse and go on from there.
Okay.
But that is the real. See, they're not local bands; these are artists.
These are artists. So if you do get approved for 2 a.m., it sounds like the evening would start a little bit later.
The artists go on later. That is
go on
correct.
later. Do you find and then if they end around 1:30, that half hour or so to get people out of there, is that any more of a concern than getting them out of there from 12:30 to 1 versus 1:30 to 2, where they have a little more liquor in them? It's a little bit later night. People seem to get a little more cranky as the night goes on.
Well, I want, for clarification purposes, right now they play till 12:30. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So what we'd be asking them right now, temporarily, at least until January, until we can take a look at that, is to play to 1.
The artists, live bands that we have will only go to 1.
Oh, they do?
What's that?
Yeah, they will only go to 1. And they only go to 1? Is that
No,
what
they
you're
only
saying?
go to 12:30.
No, I recognize that. I thought you were making the statement that they only play to 1 anyway.
No, currently they probably play till about 1:45
About
before
the
they
quarter
close.
of 1. Yeah, because they go on so late. It's just not like a local band. These are.
So we would ask for the time being anyway, until we can get a sense and a handle on how this is working out, that you would go on until 1
On live bands.
on live bands. Okay.
But you'll review that and come.
Renewal. Yeah.
But the thing is, too, with the live bands, I think this body's more concerned about the noise and the loud bands and getting them out in time. But you still can have music on. You have a jukebox, or you have something else for that half hour. So from 1 to 1:30, while the patrons are finishing up and getting ready to leave, you still can put some kind of music on without having the bands.
I think what I'm saying is I just want to benchmark, and I recognize that you're not really.
They have absolutely no residents within the area.
And that it's been a function hall for all those years, and I mean we certainly have used it, my own family. So I mean from that standpoint, I get that, and that's why, one of the reasons why I didn't like 1 a.m. was because it broad brushed everybody. Seems like I'm broad brushing everybody here, but I'm really not. I just really want to get a gauge for how we're going to handle it, and then as it comes up on renewal, we'll make those adjustments.
I will tell the board that we will work as hard as we can to make sure the safety of our customers and the safety of the people in Revere are there. So we will work on everything.
Excellent. Any questions? Any other questions?
No.
All right. Is there a motion on the table?
I make a motion to approve a 2 a.m. closing.
I'll second that motion.
Thank
Your
you so much.
application has been approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let me do my list. Speak Easy. 118 Broadway. Seeing no one in attendance, we'll table that until next month. Antonia's on the Beach. Please state your name for the record, please.
Alex Herrera.
Great. And can you tell me, what type of procedures you're going to put in place to make sure that people leave there quietly and safely?
Okay, we used to have a license until 2 in the morning before, years ago, and
Did you run it at that point in time when it was 2 a.m.?
Yes.
You did?
Well, I was working there
You were
before
working.
as a chef and manager. And what we're going to do right now is basically we never had problems before, so we're going to continue with keeping the doors, windows closed. Every time we close, after we leave the building, we're inspecting the building around to make sure there's no cars in the parking lot. We never have issues on front door with people standing and making noise, same thing at the parking lot. So hopefully, I don't think it's going to happen, having the license until 2 in the morning. So in that case, if we just have something happen like that, is what we're going to do.
Okay. Any questions? So you'll actually have people move out into the parking lot at closing time and make sure that people get out?
That is correct.
Okay, great. And have you had any complaints from neighbors in the past?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. And you're just basically doing music and just...
Well, our music, when we have live music entertainment, which is once a week, it goes until 12 midnight.
12?
Yes.
And would you maintain that?
Until 12.
12?
Well, we're not going to go after.
Okay.
After 12.
Okay. All right. I don't have any questions.
I think we did have an issue, though, with the music. You were up here a couple of times because of problems with the condo
when Vega?
association. Yeah.
Yeah, but
And-
that wasn't
and-
a real issue because even the police came here. We never get a report. It was somebody complaining about noise, but it wasn't a noise. The police used to go there all the times, and they used to turn back because there wasn't a real noise. And it was Vega at that time, so it wasn't a real noise. But that was
Have you had any incidents since that time?
no.
Well, I think what happened when that, I think at the beginning it was proven that the music was coming from your building. You moved the entertainment to the back of the building, and you've now moved it right to
And
the
then we
front.
move it to the other
Right.
side. When
So
it's,
you've brought it back.
and it's there right now. Yes.
Right.
Yes, we
Right.
keep it there.
But
Yeah.
there were a lot of issues, yeah. Okay. But 12 o'clock is all you,
That's what we do.
you're
Yes.
still going to keep it just for 12?
Correct. The live music, yes. But we do it right now. We're doing once a week.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, I haven't.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second the motion.
Your license has been approved. Casa Lucia. Seeing no one in attendance, I'll table that until September. Pancho Villa Mexican Restaurant.
Hello.
Please state your name for the record, please. Great, and so you're applying for 2 a.m.
Yes.
What do you see anything changing in the way you do business now?
Well, we still have our security there. We've been managing it quite a good job with it. We have our security. trying to manage the liquor. I've always taken care of the liquor license. Try not to give anybody anything over the limit. The noise making, we always try to keep it down as much as we can.
So what do you do? What do you do for entertainment now, and what time does that approximately end?
It ends around, the music ends around 12:45. We start cutting it down. We shut it off completely, and 12:30 is last call for anything for drinks. We have karaoke and DJ along with it,
Right.
and dancing with patrons.
And have you had any type of incidents in or outside of the restaurant?
No, we haven't had any.
Lieutenant Randall?
And you don't run any special events or anything, do you?
Excuse me?
Special events. You used to have special events. You have eliminated those now?
Yeah, we actually haven't had any special events. The only events we have is just birthday parties, baby showers, just small things.
But if it's anything other than that, the norm,
We
you
always
would
come
notify
in
this
and,
board?
yeah, we always try to see if we could get approved for it for that same night, that we trying to do anything, like bring a singer or comedian that we actually would like to try, but not right now.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
Question. So, your reason to go to 2 a.m. obviously should be, I assume it's the same as the other businesses. No, so right, is it just where is it off of Shirley Ave?
It's right off of Shirley Ave when you make a turn, right next to the
Okay.
train station.
And it's a full sit-down restaurant?
Yes, it's a full sit-down restaurant. We serve food to 12 o'clock.
Okay.
So we have families in there. We have or certain ages in there. That's why we also have security to establish the environment.
Is there a bar as well?
Yes, there is a
Okay.
bar.
So that's where the 2 a.m. comes into play?
Yes.
Okay. So you're feeling there'll be an increase in business?
It will help us a lot because a lot of the people that come out from the train station coming from work from Boston, they
Gotcha.
always pass by to our establishments. And sometimes they'll just have one beer because it's the last call.
Gotcha.
So we would like to, it will actually help us a big time
Okay.
to
Thanks.
keep more clients in there.
Thank you.
The other thing too is the parking there. I know that there's maybe 8 spots you have for parking. I would hope that you would go out there and move them along as they exit your establishment.
Yes.
Does someone go outside and?
Yes, the security guard does go outside and starts pushing them all to start going along. If he does see anything going on, he does call us and tells us what's happening outside.
Because I know you, again, are very highly residential.
Yes.
And they do park in front of people's homes. And I would hope that someone is out there and controlling noise or any crowds that may gather outside the building when you do close.
Yeah, actually during the night is when we have more of a space on the parking lot. We have the dentist's office, his space also, and we have a little bit in the back, so there's a lot of room for people to park inside the parking lot.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there a motion on the table?
Even in lieu of Ira not being here, I'm going to motion to approve 2 a.m. closing.
I'll second that motion. Your license has been approved.
Thank you.
Yeah. Peter Wu?
My name is Peter Woodgee.
All right, Mr. Wu, could you, a couple of things. We've been asking a lot of the restaurateurs about safety issues, closing times, noise. I mean, I recognize noise hasn't been an issue. You just recently had an incident outside your establishment. My concern is that is there anything that and I recognize that's outside your establishment. Is there anything that you could have done that either could have prevented that, or is there? Do you have any type of oversight just outside of the restaurant?
We got a camera outside there.
You have a camera?
But when it happened on the street, how can I control it outside the street? That's
Okay.
impossible.
So what is your plans in terms of your restaurant in 2 a.m. closing? What do you?
No, the actually is like the restaurant I still close at 1 o'clock.
You're going to close at 1 o'clock?
Yep. That's what I'm intending to.
So you're applying for 2, but you're really going to only stay
Yep,
open till
in
1?
case
Yep, I
I
understand.
got a couple customers coming late, so I can serve them, that's all. There's no,
Have you had any incidents inside the restaurant?
no.
No. Are there any questions from the commission?
The place is small anyway, that you can see everybody, what's going on.
I don't think anyone has any concern really about the restaurant itself. I guess the concern is like any places, if you're serving liquor and people leaving the establishment. And I recognize the incident that took place outside had nothing to do with liquor, at least that we know of. But I want to make sure that if regardless of whether you close it at 1 or 2 o'clock, that there is some type of oversight outside of the building as patrons are leaving.
Yeah, 'cause I heard about this incident. It was pretty serious. And the one thing I think, because I know you probably have a young crowd coming there. It's, young being in the early 20s.
Not anymore.
Okay, because I know.
Not anymore.
Okay.
They're all out.
Okay, because I know many. I have a daughter. She's 24 with a lot of friends. That first question they ask is, do you want to go to Peter Wu's for a drink? And it's a big collaboration of the younger crowd.
Not anymore.
Okay, so why do you say that?
No, because I don't want them in there. Just like push them out. I don't want a young guy in there. I want a family in there for my safety, not just for the money.
Sure. Okay.
No, my safety too. With the young crowd, anything can happen.
And I recognize that you can't control everything that happens outside your restaurant. I guess what we're saying is that we would just hope that you're a little bit more cognizant of what's going on outside the restaurant, like we would ask any restaurant owner.
Yeah, I understand
Okay.
that.
Yes, as an example, maybe if anytime after 1 o'clock they want to go out for a cigarette, and if they go out, they can't come back in. That kind of, maybe you can put some controls in. From what
I would do that too, because when you open the door, the heat's going out, the air conditioning going out. In and out, just like it costs me money.
Great. Okay. Thanks, Peter.
No.
Any other questions from the commission? No. I'll make a motion to approve that.
Peter, I'm going to second the motion.
Thank you,
The
guys.
license has been approved. I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, Joseph Cottogio, 1 Sprague Street, representing 388 Broadway, doing business as Volares. We had filed an application with the city to extend the license to 2 a.m. I'm not certain what happened, but we did have, I went to the office and pulled a receipt to show that it was paid and filed in a timely manner. If
I'm okay with
agreeable,
that.
we'd like to make the application, and if necessary, I'll resubmit the paperwork if it can't be found, but we were told to be here today and did file timely.
Do we have the paperwork?
I don't have the paperwork here, but I haven't had a chance to go back and look either. So.
Okay. Well, we'll hear that.
As we indicated, 388 Broadway, doing business as Volares. We're a newer restaurant lounge in the city. We're enjoying a growing good reputation within the city. I know the facility is familiar, being right in the middle of Broadway. You've seen the investment that the owners have made. I'm here with Cecilia Mayer, who is the manager on the license. Their capacity is 94 and 96. I'm not 94. And they're looking to extend to 2 a.m. They are willing to secure a police detail for Friday and Saturday. They do have presently doormen at the establishment and will continue to do so to check IDs Their staff is fully accredited and up on all of the not only identifications, but also monitoring on the amount of alcohol. With the extended license, they would also have a limited menu so that there would be food served with the liquor. They had made promises when we first came into the city that they would protect the adjoining businesses as far as parking goes. They have lived up to that word. They put signage on their front doors to make sure that people park appropriately. They have valet service, and we would like your consideration for their extension to 2 a.m. We don't believe there's been any incidences either. It's a very upscale lounge, and like I said, has a growing good reputation with the city.
No, I would agree, Counselor. I mean, I think we probably all have frequented that restaurant, and I think we would be in agreement there, and it's clearly an improvement over what was there prior to that. I don't have any questions at the moment.
Just the parking in general. I mean, I know it's not an hour thing. So are there any plans on, I don't know, leasing out parking spaces after 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock? That's been one of the I mean, just in general, outside of the expanding till 2 a.m. I mean, just because I drove by there one night around 8, 9, 10 o'clock, and there was no parking in sight, so I just kept going. And I don't do the valet thing, so I'm just curious about where that stands.
Okay. We had discussed possibly leasing from across the street from the Citizens Bank, that we would lease their parking spaces. However, the landlord had said that they would get back to us because I think they had mentioned that, I think it was Mass General Hospital, or was it Brigham and Women's? One of the hospitals was coming in to take over a couple of the floors above, and he didn't know if he would have enough or if he'd have any spaces for us. And that's why we decided to do the valet parking, because I know that parking sometimes is difficult, so we just have the valet park at the city lot behind the bank. Yeah.
Any other questions?
No, I have no questions.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
Your license has been approved. Boulevard.
Some of the paperwork's in.
Yeah.
David Lightbody, Boulevard Bar and Grill. Sorry for my tardiness.
So we've been asking a lot of the restaurant owners really about safety, noise, monitoring people leaving the, the restaurants and things like that. Do you, so what is your plans in terms of, do you do any live entertainment there now?
No, we don't have any live entertainment. It's fairly pretty much a weekend kind of thing, and we do have a doorman Friday and Saturday.
In terms of like monitoring the parking lot out back and out front, anything, does that take place?
The doorman does make sure that the cars are off the premises before he leaves. That's part of his job. The bartender is always the last one out, and 90% of the time there's a detail cop there.
Okay.
From the state police.
Okay, and what kind of number of patrons are we talking about?
It's hard to foresee. I can't see more than maybe 10 or 15 people lingering, maybe between 1 and 2 o'clock. Now that we have the food in there, it's kind of, we're moving along pretty quickly. People are in, out. Kitchen's closed at 11, and then it pretty much moves on quickly.
Okay. And before if we approve this, have you paid your fees yet?
For this?
For this, yeah. There's actually a fee involved in this.
I believe I did. I'm not sure. If not, then
we don't have any record of that.
I can give the check right now. I can prepare.
All right. Well, what I would, if voted upon and approved, it would be contingent upon you making that payment.
Right. Absolutely. I can go over there now or make the payment in the morning. Either.
That's fine. Any questions from the commission?
No questions.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve contingent upon payment of the fees.
Second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Your license has been approved.
Thank you.
Last item on the agenda is, the next meeting is scheduled for September, what did we say it was? So I'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting until September 18th.
I'll second the motion.
License meeting is now closed.